Intro music.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
And the ball game is over. The series is over. Welcome to San Diego.
My name is James,
And I guess my name is Joey.
and I still think this is the Brothers Padre, although I don't care anymore.
You did float the idea if we should become the Brothers Royal before.
Hey, you know what? I have a pickup truck. You have an SUV. We can get you and your family packed up tonight and move. The hardest sell would be to your wife,
Yeah.
but I think we could sell Kansas.
Technically it's Missouri, but I know what you mean.
Kansas has cheaper housing.
And it's very close to Kansas City. We're the Brothers Padre, and we've watched baseball against the San Diego Padres. Have played our last podcast, played the Dodgers, and have played the Kansas City Royals. The Dodgers are one of the better teams in baseball, and the Kansas City Royals are one of the worst. And you'd be shocked to know that we did almost just as good against both of them. It has been a unwatchable, frustrating, not even nerve-wracking. I won't even give them that, right? It has been a inexplicably bad set of games where, just to give you some footnotes, highlights, whatever, I don't have an economy of words today. I'll just say what I want to say. We're now below the Mendoza line with batting average in runners in scoring position. That means we have a less than 200 average when people are on second base or third base.
Worst in the major leagues.
The absolute worst in the major leagues. I feel like every time they come up to bat with someone on second, it has been the most soul-crushing result. And the only hits we're getting are barely hits with runners in scoring position. Infield singles, people have to give us runs. Box, errors, that's what's happening. We're not getting big hits. We're not hitting home runs. The pitching's been pretty good.
Our starting pitching rotation has the best ERA in the last month. Our bullpen has the second best ERA the last month. Together, we have the best ERA combined in baseball. So no, our pitching is really good. There's nothing more frustrating than watching our starters giving quality starts. Every one of the games except for Lugo has been a quality start. I mean, I think Michael Wacha had the best start of his career on Tuesday. 11 strikeouts, almost threw a no-hitter. That was an amazing starting performance. And honestly, there was a point where, like, are we going to lose this too? And he's pitching his heart out. It's so frustrating. And today, you could see it on Yu Darvish's face. He was like, I can't, like, and the thing is, like, it's going to trickle down. If the pitchers have literally no support, it's going to affect you mentally and morally.
It has been, it's been very, very tough to watch the Padres go up to bat. I used to be that I'd always look forward to that more than pitching. You know, just because the past few years our pitching's been not consistent. Whereas now I just don't, like, the pitching's been great. And now our offense is just anemic, dead, non-existent, pathetic, embarrassing. What other words can I think of?
Corpse-like.
Corpse-like.
This offense is dead. It is past the mortal coil. It has kicked the bucket. It's pushing up daisies. It's stone effing dead.
Yeah, it's that. It's and I don't know. And to add insult to injury, Manny Machado got a ball thrown to him in his hand by one singer?
Keller.
Brad Keller, who, as an aside, might be the worst pitcher in baseball. I don't want to be rude. Literally very bad.
We beat him, though.
Yeah. Yeah, when he gives you 8 walks, was it 11 walk or 8 walk? 8 walks in 3 innings, yeah. Dude was so bad. Super wild. Hit Manny Machado in the hand. Manny Machado has a tiny fracture in his hand. Might go on the injured list. That's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing's bad. Nothing's ever bad. Because really it isn't bad. Because we're so bad offensively, what difference does it make? That could be, I don't know, pick any Padre from the 2010s. Carlos Suarez, Corey Spangenberg, remember them? Christian Villanueva. It doesn't matter.
Christian, no, what him? He's a broadcaster now.
I don't know. He got traded to Japan. One of the few times an MLB player traded to Japan. And signed a $3 million deal. Good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah. So, anyways, it doesn't really matter because the Padre offense is so bad. I don't know if I'm stressing this enough. It's very, very bad, and it is very unwatchable. Today's game was a day game, and I thought Nando has been the only person hitting with runners in scoring position. Actually, before I finish that thought, what's also frustrating is that Fernando Tatis Jr. and Juan Soto are doing pretty good.
Yes.
But no one's driving them in. So as a side, Nando's been the only one driving runs in, right? Consistently. And today's just first and second, one out, and he just rolls over double play. Trent Grisham comes with the bat today, twice with the bases loaded. He left 9 people on base. He could not put any ball into play, struck out 4 times. He couldn't put a ball into play with the bases loaded. We had the base loaded with no outs, and we still lost. This is a team that is so in a funk, so unable to get a single hit, a powerful hit. The Padres have only had one game where they've had a inning with 3 or more runs the entire season. That means we're not hitting. We're losing games because we're not hitting. And guess what? It's not fun to watch.
No.
It's when you're down by 1 run, it feels like 30. It feels like, well, bring in the position player. Hope Jake Cronenworth's warming up because we might as well just keel over and die. Like it's so terrible. It's so awful. And I'm ready to declare something. You ready for my declaration?
Okay.
Dan? The Padres are a bad team until they prove to me otherwise.
I agree with that.
Because at this point, we're just the Miami Marlins.
Yeah.
Great pitching, so offense.
One good hitter at times. Yeah, it really is. And it's so unbelievably frustrating. Because, like, we have multiple players with multiple top 5 finishes in the MVP race in the last 5 years.
Yep.
That's so. This is not a new thing for them. Yeah, like I said, it's extremely frustrating. There's been a lot of rumors about who's to blame. I think the entire the hitting staff should be fired.
What's the worst going to happen? They become the worst team in baseball with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Austin Noah, wet blanket. Trent Grisham, wet blanket. Rougned Odor, kind of a wet blanket. Right? And the DH position, kind of a wet blanket. You know?
Hassan Kim can still get on base, and he goes up to bat and he battles. He might strike out, but he battles.
He's on base 4 times today.
Yeah. Like I said, he did his job today. The people behind him,
wet blanket.
Wet blankets. Like you can't put Brett Sullivan on blast for this. He's only been in the majors for a week, and he shouldn't have ever been in the majors.
I don't. Okay, submit. Let's formalize this a little bit. What do we do from an organization perspective, and what do we do from a player perspective? So let's attack that. What do you? So you want to fire every single hitting coach,
Or at least hire different hitting coaches to work with.
You know, they said the best time to hire MLB talent right in the middle of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's so many just like niche baseball coaches out in the world, and like baseball clinics that players go throughout the year. Hire one of them to come and do a clinic with your hitters.
You gotta do something, because it right now ain't working. So you say that. I say organizationally, we need to be. I think we need to be a little bit more aggressive in how we approach this problem. People brought this up. It's like, this is our Larry Rothschild moment. And fans of the podcast who not know that, he was our old pitching coach who, though very deep in knowledge, was not very adept at handling young pitching coaches, young pitchers. And so they
hated modern day analytics.
Which I think that some of our pitchers liked, some of our didn't. Blake Snell in the second half of 2021 had an incredible 2021, but the rest of our pitchers did not have a good 2021. Fun fact: if you're a newer Padre fan, we ran out of pitchers in the end of 2021, so we signed whomever could throw, and we signed the randomest of people. It was a dark time. I asked you, and I'll ask you on record before I go back to my original question. Is this darker than 2021?
No.
It's close though, right?
Because
no. Answer me this. It's close though. It's close.
Because 2021, both our pitching and our hitting was failing. It's at least our pitching's still good. And the thing is, even 2021, our bullpen was still really good. It would just be before we could get to the bullpen, our starters gave up 10 runs.
I think this is a moment for us as an organization, us like I run the Padres. The team that I follow's organization, I think they should approach this as a time of like, how do we get, and people say this on Twitter, the Ruben Niebla of hitting. I don't think that really exists, but how do we get someone who can develop and react to these kind of situations and develop hitters in a substantial way? And I think, unless, I don't know, the problem with that though is like, is the current hitting core so bad? Is the hitting coaching so bad? That's why we're not hitting that many balls? Is that why? Are the data given to them so bad? They're like, you know what? Maybe I'll ground a dope play. Like, dang it. I shouldn't have listened to hitting coach A who said hit a ground ball. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just feels like Trent Grisham is not going up there wanting to strike out 4 times.
No.
But he is. So how do you coach? Like, it's not, I would suspect it is not a data problem. I think it's a coaching problem. Like, how do you get the human to understand the data, to understand how to go up the plate and hit the ball, despite them having this cloud of ugliness? The Padres have performed very badly. 4 games under 500. We're not a good team. How do you handle that and tell yourselves, oh, we're the most talented hitting cores in baseball? Let's start performing like that. That's coaching.
Yeah.
That's where you need leadership. You need people who, and that's where I agree. I think there has to be at the very least, there has to be a couple sacrificial lambs, because this is unacceptable. This is not good behavior. If this was a kindergarten class, no one would get gold stars. No gold stars. Wouldn't even get to sit in the fun plushy pillow, you know? Just sit in the corner.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I agree. It's very frustrating. And the thing is, like, bases loaded, you know nothing's going to happen.
No, I hate that I have that feeling, and I hate that I'm right. And it happens all the time today.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do from a player perspective to turn this around?
Well, they had a meeting today.
Yep. Let me ask a question. What do you, from a player perspective, do you drop people? Is it a mindset thing? What do you do? What would, if you, Mr. James, Brother James Padre, were the head coach, the GM of the San Diego Padres, and you had to make player decisions, what would you do?
At this point, I would just send Odor back down. Iglesias is hitting very well in AAA right
He
now.
hit a cycle today.
Or at the very least, I would. Jackson Merle can't suck worse. And yeah, he's 19, but you know what? He did well in AAA. He did well in spring training.
What is Ethan Salas up to?
Exactly. You're still 16, right? Like, darn. What are the child labor laws in baseball? Oh, man. Here's the thing. David Dahl is supposed to be returning this weekend. Mm-hmm. He's our new right fielder. Fernando Tatis is our center fielder.
Oh.
Trent Grisham is our defensive replacement after the 7th. I'm sorry, Trent. David Dahl can hit the ball. Maybe not well. If David Dahl comes up and bats 250, he's batting 100 points higher than you are. That's a big deal. I love Trent Grisham, and I was really hoping at the playoffs, because he apparently went to some hitting coach and got his swing fixed. It would have carried over the regular season. It has not. But that's what I would do right away. I would say, listen, the kid that's hot in AAA, bring him up. He has major league experience. And David Dahl, you're a right fielder. David Dahl's not a bad defender.
No. I think you have to. Yeah, I agree. You have to do something dramatic. Odor is a negative compared to the rest of the infield. He is not a particularly bad defender, but he's not a Gold Glove caliber defender like the rest of our infield. I agree. Jose Iglesias is a very good defender. I think Odor is gone. I think I just make that call tomorrow. Yes, he is a former Ranger. And we always have to be... It's extra sad when former Rangers go.
Yeah.
But guess who's also a former Ranger? David Dahl. So it evens out. It all evens
exactly.
out.
It rhymes. It's a circle. I don't know.
So I agree with that. I think that... I think you just... You have to start being very aggressive. Adam Engel and Rafael Odor in yesterday's game on Tuesday both got picked off while they were on base in a one-run game. It's just unacceptable. Xander Bogaerts in the meeting did not convey what in the media did not convey to me what they said. They just basically said we need better at game level details, which sounds like to me don't get picked off when it's a close game.
Yeah.
Don't trick people into thinking when someone who's good at bat is up to bat.
And don't overthink it at bat when there's a runner on second.
Right. Just do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I think you do that. I actually think something different. I think you put Manny on the IL for 10 days. I think you just let him rest. Of course, you don't want to put a guy who's a perennial MVP candidate on the IL, but you definitely don't want to overhurt him at all. So put him down for IL, bring up Iglesias, bring up Dahl, And you just got to, I think you're right. I think you got to play Dahl more. You got to start seeing production from Trent before to be a full-time guy.
Yeah.
You just do. And I think,
And it sucks because he is one of the top 3 best defensive center fielders in baseball right now. But you can't, when you already have so many other positions out there that are only there for the defense, you can't lose an offensive position.
And the thing I want to do, we just can't do, which is try to fix the catcher position. Because it's just not going to, there's no way to fix it. Our one depth piece in AAA opted out of his minor league contract, Pedro Severino. And so we're stuck with Austin Nola and Brett Sullivan.
And it was supposed to be Campusano's breakthrough year, but he broke his finger.
Yeah, it is not just Nola's fault.
No.
So I'm not pointing the finger at him specifically.
Nola got on base a couple times today.
He did. What I want, this is actually I want to happen. Who was the 2019 Seattle Mariners hitting coach that somehow made Austin Nola a plus 800 OPS hitter? That's the person you hire. And you're like, hey, fix him. And just figure it out. You just got to if I'm AJ or I'm Bob Melvin, I'm just like, you cannot just mope around late in the innings. Just show up, bring the fire, bring energy. Don't look defeated, I would much rather you swing for the fences and be like, oh, I just apprehensive swings and pitches in the dirt. I will. And you have to change up the attitude. You have to be aggressive. You can't let this just define this season. But they have to turn it around. The owner of the Padres assembled the best possible talented team on paper before this year that the Padres have seen in, I think, in its own whole history. And it's up to them to perform. And I don't know how that works. I don't know how that functions because they've dug themselves a hole. And I'm not ready to say the season's over. Like I said earlier, I'm ready to say they're a bad team until proven otherwise.
There's plenty of teams that have been worse positions than we are and still won over 100 games.
Yep.
That's all true. It's just one of those things that you've said it best. Until they've proven themselves otherwise, they're a bad team. They were booed today, and Fernando Tatis said he would have booed us as well because they're not playing well.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen? What has to happen for you to believe that they're a great team again?
We play 3 games this weekend against the Red Sox, correct?
Yep.
Then we go on a road trip. Mm-hmm. Cannot remember who we play on the road trip.
I want to say it's the Nationals, maybe. I'll double check. Hold on. Thrilling audio as I pull up my app to look up the schedule.
Honestly, I used to just know it before a podcast.
Now I'm just so sad.
I know. It's hard to even look at who's going to beat us tomorrow.
It's true. The Nationals.
Okay. 3 games against the Nationals, 3 games against the Red Sox. Anything short of 4-2, I think I'll be very upset. 5-1, definitely. We need it. I mean, it would be fantastic. If we sweep the next 6 games, maybe this players' team meant something. Players' meeting actually did something. But what I want to see is consistently 4 or 5 runs a game.
Yeah. And not gifted runs like the Royals gave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't even remember what a home run was. I don't even know what that is. What that feels like.
And even Jake Cronenworth's home run today was just kind of like, oh, it went over.
I definitely thought it was going to be a flyout, but man, oh man, Padres turn it around, dog.
It's
Listen. I'm still going to watch Padres baseball. This one's bad season is not going to deter me from watching more Padres baseball.
we've watched a lot of bad seasons. Joey rattled off all those players, and he knows them from years past. I blocked them from my memory core. Every once in a while, an old player will pop in my mind. Like, remember that guy? Yeah.
Okay, we're going to close it on a fun little game.
Okay.
What player from the 2010s would you plop into this team to reinvigorate it? Was
Jake Peavy on that 2010 team?
Was he gone in 2009? I think he's gone in 2009, yeah. To those listening, James is rubbing his face in exasperation. Like, what one player?
Adrian Gonzalez was off that team at this point.
He was in 20. Yeah, wasn't he in 2010s? He must have been.
You asked the question. I thought you knew the roster. What kind of game is this?
I don't remember every roster of every 2010 team. Adrian Gonzalez must have been a Padre during the 2010s. He must have been. Yeah, until 2010, yeah.
Yeah, Adrian Gonzalez.
Okay. Does he make us a great team?
I mean, he's technically still playing in Mexico. He's 42 years old. We could still get him back.
Yeah, it add more thump to our first base position. Mm-hmm. Odor gets sent down. I like that. I'm gonna pick Chase Headley.
Of course you are.
But the 2012 Chase Headley, that weird season where he had over 100 RBIs, it was like a 4-WAR player. That's the one I want.
Yeah.
And he's a catcher. He'll fix everything. So all I'm trying to say is someone needs to invent a time machine. Go back and get Chase Headley from 2012.
But here's the thing about that particular season. He sucked the first half. He broke Major League records for the most RBIs in the second half. Mm-hmm. So, no, we don't want that 2012 until after the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think people forget, like, I call him a catcher. He's definitely a first baseman. But, yeah, there's some stats. 115 RBIs, 31 homers, 2 triples, 31 doubles, 173 hits.
That was an impressive year.
I don't know, man. I think that'd work. Top 5 MVP finish, Gold Glove, and a Silver Slugger. Have a year, Chase Headley. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. That's who I want.
That year paid for his. I mean, he got a pretty big contract after that. Mm-hmm. Not through the Padres, but
yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. Adrian Gonzalez would be the player that I'd pick because 2010 Adrian Gonzalez was a pretty good player, and he was also clutch.
Clutch is a nice thing.
Because remember, back then it was like, oh, we have runners in scoring position. Adrian Gonzalez is up next inning. Maybe we'll get a hit. And like, he was our only guy that would consistently get hits, and he was very, very clutch. And that's who I'd want.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. We're gonna bring Adrian Gonzalez out of retirement, and he's gonna start first base on Friday.
All right,
against the Boston Red Sox,
his old team.
Yep. I forgot to answer my question about. I think I'm ready to call them great again if they go on a win streak over 5 games. That's my caveat. The rest of the season, I'm not going to call this team great or even good until that happens, because just you have to prove that you can get out of this funk in a substantial way. So, but
I agree.
James, until next time, go Padres.
Go Padres.
There it is! Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!